They say betrayal strikes like lightning. Sudden, blinding, unforgettable. But when he left me pregnant to travel with his mistress, it didn't feel like lightning. It felt like drowning slowly in a sea I never asked to fall into. Fighting for breath while he stood on the shore, watching me sink. And the most twisted part? He walked away believing I was the one who would break. He had no idea what storm I was about to become. I still remember the way the air tasted that night. Heavy, thick, as if the walls knew before I did that everything was about to collapse. The suitcase lay open on the bed, half-packed, shirts rolled carelessly, his favorite cologne tucked in the corner. The same suitcase we once used for our honeymoon, except now it looked foreign, like it belonged to a stranger. Armand stood beside it, shoulders unnaturally straight, jaw locked with a determination that wasn't meant for something noble. No, it was the kind of determination people have when they are about to do something cowardly, but want to disguise it as bravery. His eyes didn't meet mine at first. He kept adjusting things in his bag that didn't need adjusting, almost like he was searching for courage inside the zipper seams. "Are you going somewhere?" I asked, though I already knew. The messages I had accidentally glimpsed on his phone hours earlier. Her name lighting up his screen, her laughing voice notes, her can't wait for tomorrow texts, had ripped away every illusion I had left. He didn't flinch. He didn't pretend. He simply zipped the bag shut and said it like he was reading off a calendar reminder. "I'm leaving tomorrow morning." I waited. I hoped he'd explain. I hoped he'd say it was for work, for family, for anything other than what I feared. With her, he added casually, "We're going to Bali." There it was, the knife. Not stabbed quickly, but pressed slowly into my heart. A slow, merciless push. I gripped the edge of the sofa because my legs felt like glass. Bali? With her? Armand? "Are you serious?" He finally looked at me, but not with guilt or remorse. No. His eyes held something far worse, relief, as if he'd been waiting to drop this burden off his shoulders. "Maya, please don't make this messy. You know things between us haven't been right." I almost laughed at the absurdity of that sentence. We hadn't been right because he had been wrong. We hadn't been close because he had been distant. We hadn't been happy because he had been looking for happiness in another woman's arms. I swallowed the pain burning in my throat. "You're leaving your wife, just like that?" He sighed dramatically, rubbing his forehead like he was the victim. "I need space. I need time. She understands me better. She makes me feel alive. Alive." The word slammed into me cruelly. Had I been killing him then by loving him, by supporting him, by believing in him when he didn't believe in himself? My hand instinctively slid over my stomach. It was still flat, still hiding its secret, but I felt the tiniest flutter inside, whether real or imagined. That tiny flutter was the only thing that kept me standing. "You planned this," I whispered. "You planned this while sleeping next to me." He didn't deny it. He only shrugged. "Sometimes people grow apart. It happens." "No," I said softly. "You didn't grow apart. You drifted towards someone else while I held everything together." He rolled his eyes. "Maya, don't be dramatic. I'm not divorcing you. I just need to explore this, to see where it goes." He said it like he was talking about a new restaurant opening in town. I stepped away from him, every part of me trembling. "How long?" "I don't know," he replied. "A month, maybe more. Don't wait for me." The cruel irony? I had waited for him in ways he would never understand. Waited for him to grow up, waited for him to take responsibility, waited for him to build a life with me. But now, suddenly, he didn't want to be waited for. I felt my throat tighten, but I held back the tears. Not because I was strong, but because the pain was too deep even for crying. I looked at him one last time, the man I once thought was my forever. And all I could see was someone small, someone weak, someone who ran away from love disguised as adventure. "When were you going to tell me?" I asked quietly. "Tonight," he said with a sigh. I didn't want to hide it. I wanted to be honest. Honest. The word nearly made me choke. Honesty doesn't come after months of lies. He grabbed his suitcase, lifted it with ease, and walked toward the door as if he wasn't leaving ashes behind with every step. He paused only once, hand on the doorknob, and looked back at me. "I hope you understand someday," he said gently. I didn't respond. He left. The door clicked shut, and my entire world shifted. I sank onto the floor, pressing my forehead against my knees as my body crumbled under the betrayal. Tears streamed down my face, hot, relentless, almost poisonous. I didn't cry because I loved him. I cried because I trusted him. I cried because I had carried the weight of our marriage alone. I cried because my baby would grow inside a storm instead of a home. After an hour, maybe 2, the tears stopped. Something colder, sharper settled in their place. He thought I would break. He thought I would fall apart. He thought I would chase him, beg him, cling to him. But betrayal doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it awakens what was sleeping. I wiped my face. I placed my hand on my stomach and whispered to the small life inside me, "We're going to be okay. I promise you that." That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by the window, staring at the empty street, replaying every moment of our relationship, every sacrifice, every promise, every lie. By morning, something inside me had transformed. I wasn't the woman he walked out on. I wasn't the fragile wife he expected to wait by the door. I was someone new, someone rising. And deep in my heart, I knew one thing with absolute certainty. He had no idea that the price of betrayal was waiting for him. And it was far heavier than he could ever imagine. Some men return expecting the same woman they abandoned. Soft, forgiving, waiting like a paused life they can resume whenever their new adventure collapses. But betrayal doesn't pause a woman. It transforms her. So when he finally came back, carrying the ruins of his choices, he didn't find the woman he left. He found someone wiser, unshakable, and already building a life he no longer fit into. The first time I saw him after months of silence, it wasn't planned. I wasn't emotionally prepared, and yet somehow I felt no fear, no longing, no leftover hope. I simply opened the door because the bell rang, and life rarely warns you before it hands you the next chapter. I was 7 months pregnant now, my belly warm and round beneath my loose dress, and my heart strangely calm. I thought it might be the delivery man, or maybe the neighbor's kid again, but when I pulled the door open, time staggered. Armin stood there, not the Armin who left me, cocky, confident, smelling of expensive cologne and selfish choices. No, the man at my door looked like he had returned from a battlefield where he had lost every fight. His shoulders sagged, his hair was messy and dry, his eyes were dull with exhaustion. Even his breath seemed hesitant, as though he wasn't sure he deserved to breathe the same air near me. "Maya," he whispered, like my name hurt to say. I didn't answer. I simply waited, my hand resting on my belly out of instinct, not fear. His gaze followed the curve of my stomach, and his eyes widened, shock hitting him so hard he actually swayed. "You're pregnant?" Yes. The word hung between us like a weight too heavy for him to hold. His hands trembled. His lips parted but no sound came. Finally he managed, "Is it?" I didn't let him finish. "Yours. Of course it's yours." His face crumpled, not from joy, not from excitement, but from pure guilt. He inhaled slowly, painfully. "Why didn't you tell me?" I kept my voice steady. "You told me not to wait for you." The sentence cut him like a blade. I saw it. I felt it. He had no defense, no excuse, no shield left. He took a shaky step back, pressing a hand to his forehead. I can't believe this. "Maya, I made a mistake. A huge mistake. I didn't argue. Some truths don't need confirmation." "She cheated on me," he admitted, bitter pain cracking his voice. "Used me. I spent everything, my savings, my credit, on her. And when I couldn't give more, she moved on." I came back with nothing. Nothing. I watched him crumble like an old abandoned building collapsing under its own damage. Once, I would have run to catch him, to help him stand. But now, I stayed still, calm, grounded, a mountain instead of a lifeboat. "You didn't just lose money," I said quietly. "You lost the life you threw away." He flinched. "I know. And I want to fix it. I want to take responsibility. I want to be here." "Responsibility," I replied, "is not spoken, it's shown." He looked like he might break apart right there on my doorstep. But I didn't soften, not this time. I wasn't cruel. I was simply done offering comfort to the one who caused the storm. Over the next few weeks he tried relentlessly. He sent messages, groceries, small gifts for the baby, apologies in every form a man can produce. Not dramatic, not manipulative, just broken attempts to rebuild something he had burned to the ground. But trust doesn't return on delivery or apology. It grows only when watered with consistency and accountability. One evening, his sister Layla came over with a bowl of soup and the kind of worried face only a sibling can carry. He's trying, Maya, she said softly. He knows he ruined everything. I know he's trying, I murmured, but the person I was before, she's gone. Good, she said firmly. Don't ever let her come back. Her words rooted themselves inside me, strengthening me further. I wasn't healed yet, but I was healing. My baby kicked off now reminding me that I wasn't living for heartbreak anymore. I was living for someone who deserved my love completely. When labor began, it was sudden, sharp pain, a gush of water, the frantic rush to the hospital. I didn't call him, not because I wanted to punish him, but because the old instinct to lean on him was dead, buried under months of solitude and survival. I called a taxi, held my belly, breathed through tears and contractions, and made it alone. Hours later, after a storm of pain, pushing, screaming, shaking, I held my son, my little boy, my miracle. He lay on my chest, warm, tiny, breathing softly like he had always belonged there. Tears dripped down my cheeks, not from sadness but from awe. In that moment, love filled the broken spaces in me like golden light. A nurse entered quietly. There's a man outside. He's crying. He's begging to see you. I closed my eyes. For a moment I didn't know whether to let him in or not. But then I looked at my son, his tiny fingers curled around mine, and I knew I could face anything. Let him in, I whispered. Armand walked in like he was approaching a sacred place he didn't deserve to enter. When he saw the baby, his breath caught painfully. His knees trembled. Tears rose fast, uncontrollable. Maya, he choked. He's beautiful. Yes, I said softly, he is. He reached out instinctively, but I stopped him with a calm, clear look. Not sharp, not angry, simply firm. You don't get to hold him yet. The pain in his eyes was raw, but he nodded immediately. I understand. I deserve that. He really did. I'm not shutting you out, I said. You can be in his life. But you have to earn it. Slowly, steadily, consistently, no disappearing, no excuses, no drama. He swallowed hard. I will, I promise. But as for us, I added gently, there is no us anymore. That chapter is over. He nodded, tears streaming. I know. I won't ask for more. For the first time he listened. Days passed, weeks, months, he visited. Regularly. Quiet, respectful, patient. Not pushing for love, not demanding forgiveness. Just showing up for his son. And slowly he became a decent father. Not perfect, but present. And that was enough. As for me, I grew stronger than I thought possible. I built my business. I laughed again. I slept peacefully. I loved wholly. I transformed. One afternoon, standing on the balcony with my baby asleep in my arms, the wind brushing through my hair, I whispered the truth I had earned. The price of betrayal isn't losing the woman you left. It's watching her rise so high. You can never reach her again. And that was my victory, not revenge, not bitterness, but freedom.